Welcome back, everybody. We are back at it again with some more Factorio. So where we left off last time, I just set up the red science to start going and being produced, and it is working well. So now we can start on getting work on some real science, and I want to go straight to steel processing so we can get some nice steel furnaces. So right now I have yet to set up the little red science, or the science lab module, so I have to collect the science by hand right now, but that is something that we will add later. So right now I want to up our red science, so I'm adding in 4 more assembling machines to hopefully increase production, because we have plenty of gears and copper, so that is something we can do. And I'm just using the same fashion that I had before with the 2 long-armed inserters and the 1 fast inserter to get everything working to it. I'm just providing power for everything right now. So that is going for that one. Now I just need to make some more long arms and put them in the correct spots for the other assembling machines, as well as some fast inserters. But while I was going up to get some more iron, as I always need, I kind of noticed that we're going to need to increase the iron production at some point. So that is definitely on the to-do list for this episode, as well as getting started on green science. So we'll need to make some assembling belts and some regular inserters for that. But as you can see, we are getting the rest of the modules set up. And for those of you who don't know about the, I guess, kind of copy and paste aspect of them, I want to say it's shift left click to copy what the assembler's making, and shift right click to paste it to the other assembling machines. So I just ran up there and tossed some red science in there, and now we are getting to work on steel processing, which will be very helpful for us. Grabbing the rest of the iron. Accidentally took that out. Alright, so now I'm just going to make some belt balancers so we can balance the red science module. And I'm going to do this in the same fashion as I have before, just on the outside, and making sure that every other one is balancing to the other side of the belt, just because it'll balance better that way, because the way the inserters and everything is being put on the belt, it's kind of random. So if you do it both ways, it'll be very helpful. As you can see, all the red science is nice and equally spaced out. This is exactly what we want. So now I'm going to head up here and going to put some more science into our lab. There we go. Walk back down here and take a check up on the iron. Obviously it is not going nearly as fast as we need to. So at this point I'm definitely going to start making some more inserters for an expanded branch in our iron production. And I kind of regret how I set it up at this point. I know we were talking about future-proofing the factory, and I did not give iron enough room to expand correctly. So we're going to have to eventually tear this down and figure out a better way to construct our iron production. But, like always, I'm going to construct it in the same manner as I always have, because we won't have to tear down the entirety of it. So now we're gonna go back and grab some more assembler belts, but this is going to be made easier later on, because I plan on making a belt construction system, and there's steel done. So I click on advanced material processing, which will be the steel furnaces. But no science in the lab right now. I realize I'm gonna have to chop the or move around the furnaces just to get them out. It won't decrease the production though, because you can just move one of the furnaces slightly down. There we go. And now we just need to split the belts like so, run some coal over, and then split the other iron ore belt. Right here I'm just checking out the map, making sure our pollution isn't getting too out of hand yet. And there we go, routing everything down there. Grabbing some more iron for the final splitter that we need to put it in. And I provide power to everything and hook up our iron, making sure that it's only being placed on one side of the belt, so you have to curve it a little bit. And I realize that I'm going to have to move the belt a little bit more down so the assemblers can actually reach it. And there we go. There's another branch of our iron production. So now hopefully we should have enough iron to keep our factory thus far satisfied. All of that will shortly change. So now I start making some green science, and I realize that it's probably best that we just work on automatic production of green science rather than creating it by hand. And while we're doing that, we can just kind of research all the red science we can, so we can be doing things simultaneously rather than waiting for green science, because if we have a ton of things to craft, then we can't really do much of anything except stand around, and that's not too much fun to watch. Alright, so now I believe it is time that we finally get started on making an actual science module. Now that we have red science coming at a pretty reasonable rate, you can see the belt is almost fully saturated. So we're going to make a belt splitter. Look at all that science going around nice and saturated. So here I'm going to make a big loop. I like making the modules 16 by 16, so that's exactly what I'm doing. Go down, and then I thought I miscounted, so I recount everything. But I believe it was correct. It was just the corner was not curved. It was not being a corner. So we go all the way back around and connect it up, but I do not connect it around to the other side, because if I eventually add other sciences, I want to make sure that each science has their own side of the belt. So we don't connect that up quite yet. Then I start a big queue of labs being crafted, and in the meantime I'm going to go around to my factory and check on the levels of ingredients being created. And I do plan on expanding our power, so I'm clearing some of that out of the way while we're waiting. But then I believe I have enough labs to at least get this going. So I start placing them in the similar fashion that I have before, kind of a radial symmetry kind of pattern. And then I provide what I think will be an appropriate amount of power to everything. But we will need to check on that after I create the inserter arms, which is what is happening right now. So we have one down there, and each of these only need one inserter because we have such a large amount of them, and they're not going to be going through science fast enough for it to really matter. So we finished putting in the power lines, but I run out of iron to create the inserter arms. So I go up and grab some more. Here we go, applying, figuring out what research to do next. I was eyeing railway there because we will need it, but I'm going to stick with advanced material processing. I mean, that was a lie. We're going to do electronics, because that does not require any green science. Wait, yes it does. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're just going to finish putting in the inserters. There we go. And then I have to try and figure out how I want to do this, but I can't seem to figure that out. Eventually I decide on inserter arms, and I'm still trying to figure it out. Belt's going to be kind of silly sometimes. So eventually I have it curve up and around, and I put some inserter arms, move that pole, and here we go. Now they're being placed on one side of the belt, which is exactly how I wanted it to work. And then they should wrap all the way around. Here they come. And now all of our science is saturated, except for the inserter arms that I put the wrong way around. There we go. So now we have red science and all the red science research being done automatically. So we can just kind of forget about it and click whenever the menu comes up, like right now. There we go. Click Automation 2 next. And now we have some green science, which I start constructing, and once again I realize I really don't want to do this because I want to have it automatically set up, and if we're sitting around waiting for green science to be made, then we can't do anything else because we won't have anything. So I make a whole bunch of belts, and then I wander down here because I want to make sure that the aliens aren't going to attack me. And there's a huge biter nest down here. It is massive, and that is something that I certainly cannot deal with at this point in the game. So I'm going to set up a radar dish down here so I can kind of get a early warning on when I'm attacked. So I research turrets just in time. Well, not just in time, because I haven't been attacked yet, but I'm doing some military preparation right now, so I'm beginning to research all that. So I put a radar down there, and what that does is there's a lighter portion of the map, which is things that you can actively see, and there's the darker portions of the map, which is something you can't see, but it will keep memory of what you saw last time in it. So if I walked out there and saw a biter base, if I walked away from it, the biter base would still be there, but I wouldn't see any of the biters wandering around. With the radar dish, I will be able to see any biters coming up to attack me. So while I'm waiting for all of my military research to finish up, I expand the iron mining, and then I start the assembler belt module. But then I realized that we are out of time, guys. So thank you everybody for watching. We will finish this up next episode.